Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. If you're an old subscriber, thank you for sticking with me. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for stopping by. So in today's video, just as the title says, I'm going to be showing you how to apply for an American visa using the DS-160 form. I'm going to go through the form with you step by step. So this video is going to be a rather long video, so kindly bear with me, but it's going to be a very interesting video. So I know a lot of people have tried applying to the American embassy or applying to go to America, and people have used all kinds of methods. People have gone through agents, people have paid so much money and still haven't had the visa. Well, you can try my way. It's not like a method, but it's just me filling out the form myself, and you won't be paying any agent anyway. So please stick with me, and I hope at the end of this video you would consider subscribing to my channel, because after this video I'm going to be showing you how to prepare for your interview. I'm going to show you how to dress for your interview, and we're going definitely to America, so we're going to take a tour throughout, and all that will be here on my channel. Now, before you apply for an American visa, you definitely need a passport. I am Ghanaian. If I haven't done this introduction, hello, my name is Petra, and I am based in Accra, Ghana. So this is a Ghanaian passport, okay? You need a valid Ghanaian passport. What it means by being valid is that it should be active. It shouldn't have expired. You shouldn't have like 6 months left on your passport for it to even expire. So if you don't have a passport, or if your passport has expired, I have 2 videos up on my channel that shows you how to apply for a Ghanaian passport, and also how to have your expired passports renewed. So do check those videos out if your passport is expired. So this is our regular passport, and mine is about 32 pages. So when you're applying for the passport, it's in that video. You can state how many pages it is you want for your passport. If you're an avid traveler, you might want more pages in your passport, so you can just opt for that option. So in today's video, as I said, is a DIY on how to apply for an American visa. But before I get into the application, there's certain things you need to know about the visas, okay? The American embassy has 185 different types of visas that they issue out. They have student visas, they have fiance visas, they have spousal visas, they will have one for kids, they have the business visa, they have the tourist visa. They have so many types of visas, so you need to know the particular kind of visa you are applying for. That is your first stop. I mean, like, if you don't know what visa you are applying for, you will not even know the appropriate form to use, and your visa might be denied because you use the wrong form for the right application. I hope that makes sense. I mean, you used a form that you thought you were using for the right application, but it's rather for the wrong application. I hope that makes sense. So I need to read something out. I have some paperwork here that I just need to read out, because I want to make sure I get all the wording right. But some of these things I'm going to read out are already on the site of the American embassy, so you can check that out as well. So first of all, as I said, we have different categories of visas. But for today's video, we're going to be focusing on the non-immigrant visas. So we have the immigrant visa and the non-immigrant visa. A non-immigrant visa is one that is for tourism, one that's for business, one that's for family visits, one that's for study, one that's for like graduation. So if, let's say, you have a friend or a family member that's abroad and the person is in school, the person is done with school, and the person is inviting you to come for the graduation, that is also a visa you can apply for to attend that graduation. But you need to have it in mind that that person needs to send you some sort of an invitation. The person has to give you a letter from the school inviting you to come over for the graduation, so that when you go for your interview, you'll be able to present that documentation to the consular to back your claim that you're actually going for a graduation. I hope you understand. So now for the immigrant visas are for permanent residents. Non-immigrant visas are for non-permanent residents. Now the B1b2 visa, which is what we'll be concentrating on today, is for business tourism. I have said that already. And that visa doesn't allow you to work in the United States, okay? It also allows you a maximum stay of 6 months. So even if the American Embassy grants you a 5-year visa, you're only eligible to stay for 6 months within each given period. You can't stay beyond 6 months, and you're not allowed to use that visa to look for a job, to try and stay in America, or to even work in America. If you say you're going for a holiday, you need to make sure you have a reservation made. Okay, we'll get straight to that when we're doing the application, but you can't go for your interview and say you're going for a holiday and you don't have a hotel reservation. You need to make a hotel reservation. So if you're going for a holiday, you need to check the date you're going, you need to book a hotel. If you're going to stay with family, you need to have their address in mind. These would come in handy when you're going for the interview. But for today, let's get into the application process. I'm going to share my screen with you. My screen recorder is not working properly, so I'll definitely share my screen with you. So the American Embassy's interface for the application doesn't support phones. So you cannot use a mobile phone to do this application. You need to use a laptop to do this application because you have to use Chrome. It has a particular, is that a web or Chrome or those things? I don't know, what are they called? That is what you need to use to do your application. Firefox, Chrome, Safari, those are the kind of things you need to use to make your application. So we're going to use a laptop. You can use any laptop or use an iPad. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we'll get straight into that. And also I need to mention the fact that you need to make a payment. Yes, the visa application is not free. I don't think it has ever been free. It is not free. So you need to make a payment at the GT Bank. The American Embassy uses GT Bank and some other bankers, but I made my payment at GT Bank. You need to make, I think, in my opinion, I think that you need to make the payment before you start your application, because you don't want to get stuck in the middle of your application and now move to the bank to go and have your visa fee paid for. So you can just go to the bank and fill a form for your payments, have your payments, have your receipt. This is how the receipt looks like. This is from GT Bank, and that's at the time I applied for my visa. It cost 800 cedis. So just keep that in mind, as prices might change, or prices should have definitely changed by now because I applied for mine last year. So prices have definitely changed. So probably there might be a slight hike in the price for the visa fee, but I paid 800 cedis for a business tourist visa, which is a B1b2 visa. So you can now make your payments online. You can do it online too. I think because of COVID, they have opened up the applications for you to make an online payment, because you need a reference number. There's a transaction reference number that you would use to input in your form for it to allow you to continue. Also, you need to take a passport picture. The passport picture has certain dimensions that you require. So these are the things that you need before you even start your application. The passport picture shouldn't be hard copy. Obviously, the application is an online application. Let me emphasize that it is solely online. The only time you would go to the American Embassy is when you are going for your interview. So your passport has certain dimensions that that is required to be used. Okay, so I'll put that in the video. I'm not too sure of it offhand, but I'll link that somewhere in the video for you to have a look at it. And also, right now the American Embassy doesn't allow you to wear glasses. So if you wear reading glasses, if you have an eye problem, you just have to take that off and take the photo. You don't, for ladies, you don't have to wear a fringe, what people popularly call Chinese. They don't accept fringes. So if you have like a wig that covers a bit of your forehead, it is not allowed. Your ears also have to show. So if you're wearing braids like me, you would have to hold your hair for your ears to properly show. You don't have to wear glasses. You don't have to wear fringes. There's still dimensions as well. So I'll put that all up. So you need to get this before you even start your application process. So now let's get straight into the video. So with your laptop setup, you need to go onto Google and then search for American Embassy visa application. application. So this, you have a couple of drop downs, but this will appear: Visa, US Embassy in Ghana. So it says Non-Immigrant Visa and Immigrant Visa. My screen recorder is not working, so you don't have to bear with me. I hope you can see all that I'm doing here. So after this pop-up, you click on this Visa, US Embassy in Ghana. Okay, then this is what will appear: US Embassy in Ghana. Please take your time and read all that it says. Important notes for current and future visa applicants. Because of COVID, they've given new guidelines for you to follow. Visa holders in possession of a still valid or expired B1b2 visa. So yes, I forgot to mention. So right now, if you have an expired visa, you have to go for an interview waiver program. You have to apply for a renewal, and that is via their interview waiver program, which is right here. Let me zoom in for you to have a look at it. So visa holders in possession of still valid or expired, you can see that. So you go for a renewal. So if you have a visa already, you go for a renewal. You don't have to go through the application all over again. So if your visa has expired and you're thinking of going to the US, you have to go through the waiver program to apply for a new visa. But then if you're a new applicant, please take your time and read this information: immigrant visa, important information, all the way down. When you're done with this, you can click on this search button right here, and then you search for the DS-160 form. After you're done reading, so take your time and read, because there's non-immigrant visas, frequently asked questions, travel and tourism, all that is available here. So apply for US visa in Ghana, DS-160 information. Kindly take some time to read all that you see here. It says each applicant, including children, must have their own DS-160 visa application. So you can't use one form to cover you and your children. If you want to go with your children for a holiday, you need to fill separate DS-160 forms for them. The DS-160 must be completed and submitted online prior to your interview. Yes, you need to complete the form, and then when you are done, it allows you to book for your interview. You can't book for an interview without completing your DS-160 form, because when you go for the interview, it's going to ask you for a barcode, and that barcode is only attached to the DS-160 form. Please take your time to read this out. The DS-160 times out after 20 minutes. So you need to be fast when you're in your application. It times out after a while, but then you can save the application and then use your application ID to log in again. So as we go through, you will see that. So so you search DS-160, okay, and then it shows you the results for DS-160. So you click on apply. Let me use my cursor. Apply for US visa DS-160 information list. So you click on this English. If you're doing your application in English. If you're doing in a different language, you search for those that require you to do in a different language, and then you use that to fill your application. Now, after you click on that button, this is what is going to appear. It says the travelstates.gov, US Department of State. Please take your time to read. That's what I'm saying, that it will take you about an hour or more to go through all this, because there's a lot of information, the documents that are required, questions, how to sign your DS-160 form. Everything is right here for you to read. So kindly do take your time and read it out. So then it says that you can access your DS-160 by clicking here, Consular Electronic Application Center website. But if you wish to preview, we're going to do a sample. So I'm going to use this sample to show you, because I'm not actually applying. If I'm actually applying, I would have to make a payment and go through that process. But I just want to show you how it's supposed to be done. So we are going to click on sample DS-160, and I'll show you that. So this is what is going to pop up. If you're actually applying, this is a page that would come up. apply for a non-immigrant visa. And as I said, a non-immigrant visa is one for non-American, so you and I, if you're not American. So you state your location. It says select a location where you are applying for this visa. There's a drop down button here. So if you're Nigerian, if you are from Guinea or any other African country, you can just search for that. But I'm from Accra, Ghana, so you select Ghana, Accra, and then you enter a barcode down here. My barcode is gone, but then it was UDB4K. Enter a barcode, and then you're supposed to upload a photo of yourself, which is right here. When you're done, then you start an application. You click on this button which says start an application. This is also for retrieve an application, okay? So as you're going through your application, you know that probably you might not, if you're not able to use one day to finish, you can save it and then come back and continue. That is, so you would use this to retrieve an application. You need to have your application ID. This is your application ID. When you start the process and then you enter your location and then the what's it called, the code, this code, and then you start an application. This is the form that would pop up for your application. It talks about Computer Fraud and Abuse Acts and notices. The US is very strict with all their privacy and immigration and all that, so you can just take some time to read all that this says. And then my application ID as of today is, I'm applying for this, I'm taking you through this video as of today, which is October 21st. So this is your application ID. As I said, you can just write that down on a sheet of paper, and then if you want, you can print your application ID so that you keep so that whenever you need to refer to it, you can do that. It says that if you have any technical issues with the system, you want to complete your application some other time, you can save your work and later start where you left off. So it allows you to do that. You don't have to sit through the whole application. You can start and stop whenever it is that you want. Now, this is a sample of the DS-160 form, and we have gone through this first phase. This one is the part that you input your location. When I said it was Accra, Ghana, then you enter the code as shown. Then you start an application. So apply for a non-immigrant visa. As I said, this is what we've already done up there. So take your time and then read this. It says click browse and select a previously saved application file you want to upload. So if you're already filling, if you are filling the form already and you got stuck or you got tired and then you want to continue, this is where you have to retrieve your application, and then you input your application ID. As I said, you remember there was an application ID previously. I said it was AA 00 something. So you input it here and it asks for some security questions. There are some security questions. Let me look for that page for you. Yeah, it's down here. After you get your application ID, there's some security questions here. The security, what is the given name of your mother's mother? Yeah, you can choose whichever security question it is that you want, so that when you are retrieving your application, that is what you are going to use to retrieve the application, as down here, you know. Yes, so let's continue. Now your application ID is this. That was, so if you're applying, you see your application ID here, and that's the date you're applying. Take time to read all this. And then this is the DS-160 form. You start with your personal information, okay? And it starts with your surname. So you input your surname there. Let me use the cursor for this. So you input your surname here. So if your surname is Ajaman, you input Ajaman here. Your given names. So if you are called Kwame, you put Kwame here. If you are called Louisa or Sandra or whatever it is. So with my name, I'll put Petra here and I'll put my surname here. And then you put your full name in native capital. If you have a native alphabet, I beg your pardon, you put that one right here. If you don't have one, don't put it there. There's some people who have native alphabet names and all that, so they put them right there. So if for women and all that, if you have maiden names or religious names and all that, or you have an alias name or an alias name, you put it there. Something professional, if you're called doctor or you're called prof or something, you can add all those other ones there. So take your time and go through this form. If you have a telecode that represents your name, there's so many things here. If you don't have one, just click on no. Then you click on for your sex, if you're male or female. For me, I would click female. If you're male, you click male. Your marital status, single, married, divorced, separated, whatever it is that you have. If you have to explain, you have to explain right here. And then your dates of birth, your date and place of birth. So you input your date of birth here, where you were born, the city, the state, and the country. If you're Ghanaian, you click Ghana. If you're Nigerian, if you are from any other country, wherever it says that you want, you do that. Then you go to your personal information too, okay? We talked about country, sorry. Yes, so country, region of origin, you select your country. So for me, I would select Ghana. And then, do you hold or have you held any nationality other than the one indicated above? If you have, there are people who are dual citizens, so you can be Ghanaian and you can be something else. So if you have any other nationality, you state. If you don't, you click on no. And then, do you hold a passport for the other country? That is for the information you provided above. As I said, you need to really read through this form. This form is quite long. It says here that's about 83 pages, so you can know this is quite long. And as I said, it's going to be a long video, so bear with me. Are you a permanent resident of the country or region other than that? So you fill out all this. If you're American already and you have a social security number or something, you fill out your US taxpayer ID and all that. If you're not, you just ignore it. And then you go to your travel information, okay? It says, have you made specific travel plans? Set yes, and person entity paying for trip. So there are people who have sponsors. If you have a sponsor, it's all down below for you to fill out. So it says purpose of trip to the US. Let me zoom it in for you to have a look. Yes, purpose of trip to the US. So you select your visa class. So in your form, all this will pop up. So purpose for your trip, if it's tourism, it will pop up down here. You click on this button and then you get a drop down menu and then you select tourism. And then have you made specific travel plans? Select yes. So let's use this format for a tourist visa, okay? Then you select yes, and then it says provide a complete itinerary for your travel to the US. Your date of arrival. Definitely, you know when you are scheduled to leave Ghana and when you will be arriving there. You should know definitely before you even start applying that. If you're going for a tourist visa, you're probably going to be doing maybe 2 weeks in the United States. You know that you're going to leave Friday, the 21st October, and then you would leave there in November, in 2 weeks in November. So you should know the dates. So your date of arrival in the US, the arrival flight. Right now things have changed, so you need a complete itinerary for the US, and then you need your arrival flights if known. If you don't know, that's fine. Arrival city. So if you're going to New York, you click you type in New York. Your date of departure from the United States is very important to them because they don't want you to overstay. So your date of departure, you select your date of departure. Your departure flight, if it's known. Usually when you're booking your flights, if let's say you're going with Delta would calculate everything for you. You should also know that if you're leaving on the 21st, you'll be back on like the 1st of November. So you key in all those details right there. So this is your street address, your city, your state. Kindly fill all this out. It is very, very important. Then we go to the next page. Let me just use my finger to do this. Travel information. Okay. It says your purpose of the trip. We've done this up there already. And if this is for business, so you say business, pleasure, visitor, you specify. This is where you specify whether it's a B1 or B2 visa. It gives you a category already, so you just click on this button and then a drop down will come. This is just a sample because I'm not actually applying for it, so I can't fill it with you as we go, even though I have to go and make the payment all over again. And then you continue. If it's for a foreign, so this is for like ambassadors and all that. I don't know if there's anybody here who's an ambassador, because usually like, the foreign affairs is going to apply for those kind of visas for them. So this category is for them. So let me go down and then we actually fill this form for you. Okay, if you're going with children, you need to specify the children that you're going with. That's what the site says. And are there any other persons traveling with you? If you're going with somebody, you click yes or no. Are you traveling as part of a group or organization? You key that in. If you're going with somebody or it's a group, you're going with a particular travel and tour, you need to state the people and all that you're going with. So that is why the form is quite long, because it has all these information that you need to provide. So okay, down here it says that yes. Have you ever been in the US? If you have been, you select yes. If you haven't been, you select no. So your first answer predetermines the other follow-up questions that would come. If it's yes, you state the date you arrived, your length of stay. If it's no, this drop down won't come for you because you haven't been to the US. Do you or have you held a US license, a driver's license? You would select no. Have you ever been issued a US visa? I hope you can see that. If you have ever been issued one, you select yes. If you don't, you just select no. Has your US visa ever been lost or stolen? You continue with that. Has your US visa ever been cancelled or revoked? You continue with that. So you read all this. Then you provide your address and phone number. So if you live at East Legon, maybe you live on Pawpaw Street or Boundary Road, whatever it is, you state your street address, your city, the state, and then your billing address. So it says primary phone number, you put in your phone number. If you have a secondary phone number, if people have 2 or more numbers, if you have that, you select that one as well. And it says that your email address is very important so that they can email you. You put in your email address right here. 160. Your passports or travel documents. So you input your passport number. Your passport number is usually on the front page of your passport with your passport details number. So you input that and then you put it here, passport book number, blah blah blah. The country where the passport was issued is all in that page. So you would have the city, Accra, the state, the country, the date, the expiry date, everything is inside your passport. So your US point of contact. So if you say you are going to visit family, you should have your family's address. They should tell you that they live on 40th Street in Manhattan, apartment number, blah 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 blah. They have to give you all that. If you're going to a hotel, you should know the hotel's address and then you put it there. But more often than not, at least I think a percentage of people at least know somebody in the United States. So you can put in that person's information right there. You just have to contact the person. So if you're going to stay with a friend, contact your friend in the US and say, oh, I'm putting in your name in this particular thing. So I'll tell you why this thing is very important, because that is why I was refused my first visa. As we go on, I'll explain to you. So it says your US point of contact. You put in the person's contact there. And if you have relatives, you put them all there, your father's full name and all. I mean, like, definitely for your the people who are orphans, so I can't say you don't have relatives, but definitely, even if your parents are deceased, you need to put in their name. So your father's full name and date of birth. Given names, date of birth. If your father's still living, yes or no. your parents' street address. Is your father in the United States? If the father is there, you click yes. If he's not there, you select no. Your father's status, your mother, all these things are for you to fill out. Every single thing here is for you to fill out. Now, spouse. If you're married, this is for you. Displayed for K3 who are selected married or common. So if you're going to join your spouse, this is for those who are filling the K3 application. So that's I said, there are different types of applications. So if you're filling to go and join your spouse and you selected married or common law marriage and all that, this is what you have to fill for that. But there's also another part that's for the DS, the regular visa you are filling. It shows whether you are married or you're not married. So you fill all this out, and the information of your partner. If you say you are married, and you've indicated, it says here, notes, you have indicated that you are in a civil union or domestic partnership. Enter the following information concerning your partner. Of course, you can't say you are married and you don't have a partner. You should have your partner's name, surname, your partner's date of birth, the person's country, city, your partner's address. And this is for fiancé and fiancée, yeah. So you fill this part out. That is if that is what you're applying for. As I said, we're just doing for today's video, we're just filling for, let's say, tourism. So you will not need all this information. But the particular information or the particular visa type you state is the form that will pop up for you. But because it's a sample, this shows you every single thing. So let me look for our specified. I just wanted to run you through all of it for you to have an idea of the kind of form you will be filling out. But as you can see, if it's for a spouse, it tells you what to do and all that. But these are this security question runs through for everybody. Have you ever been the subject of removal or deportation? No. Have you sought or assisted others to obtain a visa entry into the United States or any other United States immigration benefit by fraud or willful misrepresentation or other unlawful means? You select all that. Have you ever been directly involved in the establishment or enforcement of population controls, forcing a woman to undergo an abortion against her free choice? There are so many things here for you. Carefully read them, because you don't want to select a yes for something and it will go against you. Like something like this. Have you ever been convicted of an aggravated felony or have been removed from the United States? And you go and select yes. You probably don't even have a visa and you select yes for something like this. It's going to go against you, because if you've selected this, they're going to scrutinize your application to the core. So take your time when you're reading all the application. For your finance, yes, it says your financial statement for the most recent years. You would have to fill in something like this, because they need to know you know, how you're going to finance your stay here. But this is for, let's say, spouse. Since I'm on this page, let me just talk about it. If your spouse is inviting you, or somebody's inviting you over, you need to fill this part out. Your financial statement, you need to fill out whether you have money to cater for the person, your total annual income before taxes, your total annual income after taxes. You know, all these things are very critical. If you're inviting your spouse or somebody over, you need to fill all this and read carefully and fill them out. Okay? So, non-immigrants, you fill all. So the form is quite long. You're not going to get all the 83 pages, because this encompasses for fiancés and spouses, as we saw previously. So let me search for our particular one. So as part of the form, I told you that we're going to you have to upload a photo, and it says that starting November 1st, eyeglasses will no longer be in use. So you don't have to use eyeglasses if you're applying for this, and then you're using it for your photo. You don't use eyeglasses for this. And then when your photo is uploaded, it tells you photo pass quality standards up there in green. So this is a sample of somebody's photo. Now this is the form. You confirm the photo. If you want to choose a different photo, if you think your photo is not nice, you can click on this button and choose a different photo. And then, so this is how your form looks like after it's been completed for an online non-immigrant visa application. So your full name, your sex, your marital status, you know we did that previously, your identification number. If you're not American, as you see, just write does not apply. Then your postal code and all that, we did that previously. Then your passport information, date of issue, I showed you where your passport information, everything will be. It's in your passport. Then the list and the purpose of your travel to United States. So you specify all that you need. Then your contact person. If you don't know anybody, as it says you do not know. If you're going for, let's say, a training, okay, it's a business visa, so you're going for a training, you specify the name of the organization up here, organization name in the US. So if you're going to a school for a training, you state, it says the George Washington University. So it's getting a bit dark here. And then the relationship to you, school official, and then the state, that's the contact over there. And then your family. So your father's name, you know that we did that previously up there. Your father's name, your mother's name, your spouse's name, if you're married. If you're not married, you just leave that blank. And then you need your work and education. So your primary occupation, if you're still in school, you put education right there. If you're employed, if you work with a bank or you work with wherever it is you're working, an oil company, if you're a teacher, whatever it is, just state there. Then your present employer's school name. If you work for a hospital or something, state it there. This is all the information. So just go through it. This is a sample. You can also download the sample and go through it before you start your actual application. Then your employer's name, your employer's address, the phone number, your job titles. If you're employed, this is what you're going to go through. Your supervisor's name, every single thing like this. And do you belong to a clan or a tribe? You state that. Your language. Have you traveled to other countries or regions within the last 5 years? If you have, you state yes. If you haven't, state no. Don't worry if you don't have any travel experience. Just state no right there. If have you resided in any country or region for 6 months or longer, whatever the answer is, kindly state so. And this is the security part. This is where they say, have you ever violated or engaged in conspiracy? If you haven't done anything of that sort, state yes throughout. And right now it says, do you have documentation to establish that you've received vaccination in accordance to the US? So right now, because of COVID, if you are vaccinated, there's a part of the form that shows you that. So you have to select. If you're vaccinated, you select yes. If you're not vaccinated, you select no. Take time and read this part, because any wrongful answer here will go against you, because these questions are very important. Because it says, let's see, have you been convicted? Have you been removed from the US? Have you failed to attend a hearing on your removal? You know, all these things are very important. So if you select yes somewhere, your interview might, no matter how well you do in your interview, this might go against you probably. And when you're done, this is your application review. It shows you every single detail. The writings here are really tiny, but this is what is going to pop up after you are done with the application. So this is for students. If you're applying for a student visa, it says student exchange visa information. And so this is it. You go through your form and then you sign and submit. You have to sign. You put in your initials there, or put in your name. It's better still just put in your name. Write your full name there, and then you click on submit, and you're good to go. So that is how to fill the form, and this is what comes. So this is your confirmation. After you are done, the signature part is the last part of the application. After you are done, this is the confirmation page, and it's displayed for all. This barcode is very important because they're going to scan it at the US Embassy before you enter. So make sure you fill this form appropriately. It's going to come with your name and your picture and all the things that you filled. It says this is not a visa. Yes, before you get excited, this is not a visa. So you have to print out this page. Let me back up for you to see. You need to print out this page when you're going for your interview. It's very important because it says print confirmation is right here. Print confirmation, print application. You can email it to yourself, send it to your email, and then print from there, and take time to read whatever it is, copyrights and disclaimer. So this is it for the application. This is the last part of the form. This is your confirmation. You need to print out this confirmation. Let me emphasize that again. You need to print it out when you are done. This is a sample we have just used, but you need to print it out when you're done. We have come to the end of this video. I hope you understood everything that we did. So just a recap of all the things that you need. You need a valid passport. Your passport shouldn't be expiring in the next 3 or 6 months at the day of your application. You need to make a payment into GT Bank, and you need to fill your application online. Now, I must emphasize the fact that your application must be very truthful, because in the application you will see that they'll ask for your social media handles. They'll ask if you have been denied a visa before. They'll ask if you have even been denied a visa to other countries other than the American embassy. Please be truthful. Now, the thing is, most people don't realize that as at the time of your application, you know that when you go for the interview, you take fingerprints, you take a biometric data sort of. And then if you've been denied before, your data is already in the system. So previously, people used to change their passport because the American embassy used to stamp in your passport whenever they denied you a visa. They would stamp rejected or denied whenever you were refused a visa. Now the thing is, whenever you go, you do your fingerprints, you do your biometric. So people tend to forget that when they go with new passports, the system still shows that you have been denied. So they would fill a form and state that they haven't been denied a visa before. This is the first time they are applying. So when you come, the consular doesn't even, it's like, that's what people feel, or people think that they already have a predetermined mindset. No, they see in your previous application that you have been denied. And in your current application, you stated that this is your first time applying. They won't believe you. So even before they listen to you, probably they know they're going to deny you because you haven't been truthful. So please be truthful in your application. If you have been denied twice, 3 times, 4 times, once, stated that you have been denied. Also, I'll entreat that you read through your form carefully and very thoroughly. Make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's. Make sure that the places that you're supposed to select no, you select no. Like the part that has the questions that say, have you been detained or forced out? If you haven't been, don't go and select a yes for any of those questions, because those are very serious offenses or crimes. Immediately you select yes for any of that, you might be out. Okay, so make sure you read through your form. If you are done, you can send your form to somebody to also proofread for you. You can send it to another person to have a second opinion, or probably like give it to somebody in your house or somebody you trust, anybody to go through your form for you to make sure that what you have selected is the right thing. Make sure it is somebody you trust. Don't go and give it to somebody and the person will change all your right answers to wrong answers. Just give it to somebody to proofread for you. That is it. Just tell the person, oh, I just need you to go through my form for me, just to have, you know, a second eye on the whole thing. It doesn't hurt. Now you can also ask people, okay? If you have any questions, kindly leave it down below. I would really like to get interactive with you. Send me all your questions or suggestions, or reach me out on my Instagram, or send me an email. I will be glad to help. But make sure that you go through your form properly. Do it yourself, okay? Sometimes, now the thing is, the visa fee costs 800 cedis. More often than not, people pay agents about 10,000 cedis to get them an American visa. Things have changed, okay? The thing is, your agent will not go for the interview for you. For America, your agent will not go for the interview for you. For other countries, you know that it's just paperwork. So he can just do paperwork and submit online for you. But for the American embassy, your interview is also like 50%, and your paperwork is also about 50%. So even though your agent does the 50% work for you, the rest of the process all depends on you. You're the one going for the interview. You're the one going to be asked the questions. Your agent will not be there when you're being asked the questions. So make sure you do the form well, and make sure you prepare for your interview well as well. And after this video, my next video will be how to answer questions at the interview. So kindly subscribe to my channel, share this video, call your friends to come and watch. If you have anybody or know anybody who is trying to apply for a visa, let a person watch and do it this way and try. If you have tried agents and it hasn't worked, do it yourself and see if that also works. If you know anybody that needs help, if you can't do all this by yourself after all that I have done, kindly let me know. I'll send a contact number to you. This guy also helped me out. He read what I did when I was doing my interview as well. He was also my second eye when I was doing this. So you can send me an email. I would give you his number and I think he'll be glad to help. This video very educative. Kindly give it a thumbs up. Kindly share it to your friends. Kindly tell your friends about me. And in all, kindly subscribe to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Bye.